in the world we are in, our economy remains very fragile. It needs careful management and it needs careful protection. That's because we have a plan, our economic action plan, notre plan d'action économique. That's why Canada has, through all of the turmoil in global financial and banking markets, we remain with the strongest, most stable banking and financial system in the entire world. Our economic action plan, that's why we have in Canada, by far, the lowest debt burden in the G7, and years ahead of most other developed countries, we have returned to a balanced budget in Canada. Friends, we're ahead of schedule. We actually have a $5 billion surplus for the first 3 months of this fiscal year. Our economic action plan, that is why the Canadian economy has been steadily creating jobs for these past few years, and why since the global financial crisis, Canada's economy has created nearly 1.3 million net new jobs, 1.3 million more people working now than then, the best job creation record among the G7 countries. Our economic action plan, friends, that is why we continue to implement it in order to create good jobs and economic growth. And we are making affordable investments along the way, announcing them in this campaign, that will help people and will help build the long-term prosperity. One of those things must be continued support for the people who create that prosperity, who create the jobs in our communities that come with it. Canada's small businesses are the backbone of our national economy. Put it another way, small business in Canada represents 99% of all of our businesses and employ almost 70% of all Canadians who work in the private sector. Therefore, the best way to ensure more and better jobs for Canadians is to create the right conditions for our enterprising businesses to flourish and grow. That's why our government has reduced small business taxes to 11% and increased the income threshold for that rate in 2015 alone. These two changes are reducing taxes paid by small business by over $2 billion. We increased the lifetime capital gains exemption, and we indexed it. We established the small business job credit. This year and next, that credit will save over 750,000 small businesses more than $500 million in income tax. I am pleased to announce that as part of our low-tax, balanced budget plan for jobs and growth, a re-elected Conservative government will lower the small business tax rate further over the next 4 years from 11% to just 9%. Friends, when I talk about the importance of business, and particularly the small business community, let's never forget that the opposition has a very different agenda. They propose, for example, to raise your EI payroll taxes, a big chunk paid by small business, by at least $2 billion a year. That would mean more Canadians out of work in communities like this. Their proposal to raise your CPP payroll taxes is even worse, a minimum of $9 billion a year. I got to tell you, friends, that is very conservative. It's probably a lot more than that. A minimum of $9 billion a year. Canadian Federation of Independent Business has done a survey. That kind of tax hike will mean 2/3 of businesses will freeze or restrict in hiring, and it means over half of them will cut employment. Friends, the opposition is worse than wrong, however, on these things. Their views reflect a deep hostility to private business. We have always known this about the NDP. It is their ideology. Imagine that someone seeking to be Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, would casually assert and refuse to retract a statement that a large percentage of small businesses are just tax avoidance schemes for the wealthy. Friends, look around you. Here at TAMCO, there are 45 men and women building industrial equipment. Businesses like this are no tax scam. They are the backbone of Canadian economy. This is Canada at work. Here and in places like it, and hundreds of thousands of other businesses from coast to coast, this is where people live and work. Do you really want, in this fragile global economy, to risk a Liberal or NDP government that would start a tax war on small business that would kill jobs. Friends, that's the difference, and that is the choice. So, friends, as I said earlier, the choice in this election could not be more clear, and it could not be more important. The Liberals at NDP are making tens of billions of dollars of spending promises with money they do not have, and money they can get only through running ongoing multi-billion-dollar deficits and raising your taxes. Make no mistake, that will hurt our fragile economy, that will cost you money, and that will put your job and our economy at risk. Our plan for the economy, we will maintain our balanced budget, we will lower taxes, we will continue to make affordable and effective investments with more transfers for health care, education, infrastructure, and more benefits for our families and our seniors. That's why there are no better economic fundamentals, there are no better economic prospects, and there is no better place to be than this country, Canada. So thank you, friends. On October the 19th, I know most of you are working in the campaign. Every single vote is going to matter. Every single vote to protect our economy could make the difference to your family, to your community, to your job. Our economy is our #1 priority, and we have a positive plan for the next 4 years, a plan that will protect our economy, secure its future, and build our Canada strong, proud, and free. So thank you for all of your efforts, and thank you for joining us today. Merci beaucoup.